Hello, this is Dorothy Smith, and today I'm bringing you a combination challenge that I did using Mojo Monday's Mojo Sketch 506 and also the Color Dare Color Challenge. And I'm going to use candy apple, New England ivy, and charcoal today, and I'm going to make a Christmas card. And I decided with the circle in the middle on Mojo Monday Sketch that I would make a shaker card. And so I didn't use the square format that Julee used. I'm using the Wonder of the Season sentiments, and I'm going to do a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card. So you get a poinsettia and pine cones and may the joy and wonder of the season be yours on this stamp, which I really like this little stamp. And so I'm using one of the background and texture papers from 'Tis the Season Workshops Your Way kit. And I cut it a half an inch less all around, so 3 3/4 by 5 inches, and just placed it so there's a 1/4 inch border all around. And then I took a strip of another background and texture paper from 'Tis the Season and cut a 1/2 inch strip, and I'm going to use that as kind of my belt buckle to go down the center of the card. So I'm just trimming it because I can't cut perfectly straight. And I'm putting some my usual adhesive, which is Tombow, on the back of it to put it in place. So you're going to watch how I do things with my scrapbook club. So this is what I did and this is what I should have done. Okay, so here is my double stick foam to start making the shaker, the circle shaker part. And so I use my piercing tool and go around the outside edge between the squares that can be used for later on for raising things and the outside rim of the shaker. So what I should have done here was to cut my circles and put the rim, this double stick foam rim, on the white circle, which I needed to stamp the Joy of the Season stamp, but I didn't do that. So I put it directly on the background and texture paper, and while I'm working here, I'm thinking, I don't think this is right, but I can't remember what I'm supposed to be doing here. Oy, it is 'Tis the Season. It's like my brain is fried already, and I've got weeks to go before Christmas. So I am just going to, I took the first protective layer off, and I'm centering the shaker foam. Whoop. All this stuff sticks to it. So here we go. And it'll be fine. I'll figure out. This lets you know that when you make mistakes, you can always find a way of remedying what you've done without starting all over again. And so I'm pulling the center foam pieces out of the way and leaving the double stick circle in place. And I'll use those later on. And so here is the center, and it's like, okay, now I don't have anything to stamp on it. I can't put it on the background and texture, so I went and got my white daisy cardstock with my thin cuts, which I'll put all this information below the video. And so with this really cute thin cut circle pattern and confetti, it's for making a decorative cover for you, specifically for the shaker windows. And so this circle cuts a perfectly sized circle for the that foam circle that is sitting on my card right now. So this is what I should have done, is I should have cut this first, the circle, and I do kind of a double cut to make sure it goes all the way through. Using my handy dandy pale pink Cuttlebug. There's my circle. And then I wanted to make a glittery decorative cover for the shaker card, and so I'm using my white glitter cardstock, and there's the stitched decorative rim that I'm going to cut in the Cuttlebug also. So it's really nice. It also comes with 2 plates to make hearts and stars confetti, so you can make your own confetti with this particular thin cut. And so I'm going to go over this cut because the glitter paper is thicker than the regular cardstock. So I went over it 3 times, and it cut beautifully. Just falls apart. And there's a center circle that you could use for something else. So I set my plates, and I used the A, B, and C plate to cut the thin cuts, just so you know. So I'll put my Cuttlebug away. I love my pink Cuttlebug. And my plates. And pull the card back, and then I put my circle in and realize, okay, so that should have been there first. So now what am I going to do? I guess I'll just trim it out, and I think that the decorative cover will kind of hide the rough edges. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp my circle pattern. I'm going to use my intense black stamp and put the Joy and Wonder of the Season stamp on my clear block. So using the clear stamps and the clear block, you can really get a good center, and see, I can't take it off. It's stuck too good. But I try. Then it's like, no, you got to make this work, Dorothy. So what are you going to do? Yeah, so, and that one's too small, and it would be kind of thick, so it's too small to use. So good try, no go. But I'll continue to see if it's, see, it's gonna show up, so you can't use it, Dorothy. Put it away. Yep, still doesn't fit. Oh my God. Okay, so here I am finally getting smart, and I'm trimming off just a little bit, and it's a rough cut. So it's, there's some angular angles to it, and but that decorative border will hide that, fortunately. So it'll kind of fit snugly in there. I'll have to jam it in a little bit, but it'll be fine. So, and that's a really sticky foam tape that we use. It sticks to everything. I mean, it sticks to my fingernails, which, if you notice, have Christmas glitter on them. So now I'm going to go ahead and stamp with, this is my new favorite stamp, this intense black. It's not as black as the archival black, but if you want to, you can very quickly, it doesn't take 20 minutes to dry. It dries almost instantly, like our water-based stamp pads, ink. And the neat thing is, no, I'm not going to do it this time, but you can color with it immediately, and it won't smear. So if you do that with the archival black, if it's not perfectly dry, then you've got a smeary mess. And so I'm just going to go ahead and put my Tombow on the back and finagle it into the center of the foam tape. And so it's not pretty, but it will, in the end, it will work out just fine. So I'm just kind of smashing it in there to get it under the little edges. And I brought some of we have a new collection of what do you call those things? Sequins. So I'm using the white and silver and iridescent sequins to put in there. It's always a good idea when you're using these sequins because they've got so much static. Look at that. They just hop right over onto whatever is sticky. I mean, they just fly over there. So it's always a good idea, like I should have used the anti-static pad on that white where I stamped the joy of the season. And there's, like I said, they're sticking to everything, so I'm trying to put them where they belong. But they just kind of pop themselves, I swear they do. So I put them over there. So, will you stay there? Will you get off my finger? So now I'm going to put the next piece that goes in place is the clear window. And the best thing to use for the clear window is not the pokey tool to get the protective cover off of it, but to use the it sort of looks like an eraser. It erases, it's really good to have around, to have handy. It erases extraneous glue, but it's also really good for the finding the edge of the protective coating on the window. So I'm getting I went and got my eraser, and now I'm trying to find the little window. And so I tried to use the pokey tool to get the window off. It's out of sight here. There we go. Forgetting about my eraser tool, which is behind me. It's really hard to find the edge of it. So I finally say, okay, I remember now I'm supposed to get the eraser tool. And you have to have one of these close by when you're doing this, because otherwise you get frustrated. So if it doesn't pull up, you're on the wrong side. So then you see how it immediately comes up with that wonderful eraser tool. Yeah, get one. You'll need it. So when I pull off the protective coating, I use my anti-static pad to just get some of the static off. And that hopefully it keeps all the sequins from sticking to the little window. Anyway, it's a better thing to do, because once it's in place, you're not going to be pulling it off. So once again, I'm using my Tombow to put on my edge, my white glitter paper decorative edge, and I'm just putting it all around the back side of the glitter paper. And it's nice, this little edge has got that it looks like a stitched pattern. See, all better. All of my boo-boos disappear, which that's one thing I love about scrapbooking and card making is you can make your boo-boos disappear. How nice, right? How many times do you get to do that in life? All better. So these little greenery pieces I cut from our new digital cartridge called, what is it called? Season of Joy. And the Season of Joy digital cartridge is gorgeous. It has all these wonderful cutouts for Christmas. And I would venture to say there's probably 50 or 60 images and Christmas greetings that you can use for cards and for scrapbook papers. And then, of course, you can make it any size you want. Now, I made these much bigger for a scrapbook page I did. And, these were the first ones that I cut, so I really didn't know what size to go for. So clearly, and I just set these aside until I could, find another use for them. So if you cut something and it's the wrong size with your Cricut, then, make a little storage place for your Cricut cuts that are the wrong size. Because believe me, you will cut and use, or you don't have to cut again, but you will use your maybe cut wrong at the time Cricut cuts. And if I have a cut that I really like with the Cricut, then I might cut a whole page of them and put them in a little container to hold them. Like I love our clouds. We have clouds on one of our cartridges, probably Artistry, I'm not positive. And oh my goodness, I have used the clouds on all sorts of beach layouts and park layouts. Just stop there if you wanted to. But I did like that poinsettia that was on that stamp set. And so I stamped it in the intense black. And I did was, which I'll show you in a second, I'm going to use our set of color pencils. And they've got a bright green and it goes with the candy apple. And, I'm just scribbling here with these pencils. Now you could do a neater job, and I'm making the inside leaves just a little bit lighter, but you don't have to do a super fine job of coloring, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to make the outside bracts, the bigger leaves, a darker red. Because, you see poinsettias now, and good grief, they're mottled, they're pink, they're white, and, not the solid reds anymore like they used to be. I mean, we still have those, of course, but, there's so much more now. So I just decided a variation of bracts, I think they're actually bracts and not petals, is just fine. And what I will use then is I have a blending pen that I got from Close to My Heart, of course. And I think I forgot to do one of the little bracts. And so this is the blending pen. And look at that. It smooths out the pencil. If I get a little closer here so you can see it a little better. But you can see how scribbly I am. And then I take my blending pen and poof, you have a watercolor. And, it's just, I really never thought I would use those color pencils very much, but this whole blending pen idea, and you can actually blend colors into each other with the blending pen, which, it's beautiful. I love it. So, anyway, it makes me actually be somewhat artistic, and have it look nice. So, anyway, there I am, blending all the scribbly pencil into a nice smooth poinsettia. And I start doing, but what you need to do is just kind of wipe the color off from the red. And it'll become clear again, and then you can go to your next color if you don't want the colors to blend, which, you don't really want the reds and the greens to blend on the leaves. So, now this stamp, I stamped it and then I cut it out beforehand. I was going to do one on the video, but the card ended up being smaller than I was thinking, and so I didn't cut it out, but I did that beforehand. And then I'm doing the centers. I probably should have done gold. Oh, I know. Yeah, I should have done those in gold. But anyway, there's my poinsettia. And now I'm going to use the center pieces from the window. And Close to My Heart had these cut up nicely for us, so we can go ahead and use the extra material for pop-ups. And, especially the odd-shaped ones with the points works perfectly for my poinsettia with all of its points jetting out. So it was like, how perfect is that? See? So anyway, I love that you get so many pop-up pieces to use later on. And I'm just making a collection of these, and I won't have to buy a pop-up package for a long time, because I've got so many of these inner pieces from the shaker windows. And I told you, I just didn't think that I'd like the shaker windows so much, but they're really fun to make, and just kind of think before you start doing. But see, even so, you can still make it happen. And I'm just putting my poinsettia over the greenery, so a little bit of greenery pops out in a three-dimensional way. And there's my card. May the joy and wonder of this season be yours, and may the joy and the wonder of the season be yours. Thank you so much for watching. Here I am playing with my card. So thank you very much. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching my video. Subscribe to my YouTube channel and visit my blog at dotscrapbooking.com.